You were by nature a firefighter, you think?
I don't. I didn't mind fighting fire, but it scared the hell out of my mother and father.
Oh, really?
My mother happened along to come out to the guard station one day when we were out fighting a fire, and my lungs were all full of smoke, and the tears were coming out of my eyes just because they were watering. And I had a hard time talking on the radio, and she happened to be in the guard station where she could hear the radio, and she became all concerned that I was dying or something. I know you've been working on a book, and I know you've done quite a few interviews, and you've come up against a lot of stories. Everybody probably has their favorite lookout story, and if I'm not wandering too far afield, there's a story that I know to be fact. I won't mention any names, but it's kind of a classic. It happens every place, but I really seen it happen. A couple of young men were in a fire engine, and they were going up to a lookout to take water up. It was a remote lookout in the days that you took water up in the 10-gallon cream cans. Well, a particular brand of radio is kind of infamous for the mic falling off of the dashboard. They kept having this problem, and so they removed the mic from the dashboard and laid it down in the seat. They stopped at a store and picked up the grocery list for the lookout, got the water. This lookout was a lady of about 47. She was not unattractive by any means, and she had an outgoing spirit. Well, as luck would have it, the two young men in the truck were headed up the hill, and they were discussing the physical attributes of the lady lookout. Unfortunately, the mic that was laying in the seat had become depressed back in the seat, and what they were saying was being broadcast all over that particular district. They were comparing the physical attributes of that lookout to another lookout, and had decided that they would be very interested in having some type of further conversation with the lady lookout. And when they got to the lookout, they found out that the radio had been on for the last 20 minutes, and the lady lookout had this great big grin on her face when they arrived. And they, from there on out, they checked their mic buttons almost constantly.
In fact, I don't like giving my address to government agencies very much. I did it with the Forest Service, but like when I go in for my driver's license, I told them I wasn't living at a house or anywhere. And they wouldn't accept it. I gave them my P.O. box, my proper P.O. box, so they could get in touch with me. And they said, no, we need to know where your residence address is. And I said, you don't need to know that. Why do you need to know that? And they said, well, we just have to have it. You have to think up something and write it down, or we can't give you your license. So I gave them the ranger station.
There you go. That's it.
They could probably look me up from that. At least I wouldn't be going right to me.
Yeah.
And I move around fairly often, so I always give them an old address or something. Say I forgot. You never know, things could just change, and you could be in a war all of a sudden. They could be drafting people, and the less they know about you, the better.
Been to a lookout was Lucas's lookout. I didn't even really know they existed before that.
Oh, you'd never been to one as a kid?
I'd never heard of them.
Never even heard of them?
No, even
really?
living on this forest, I'd never even heard of one. And so that was my first connection. And I just remember visiting him and thinking, this is a job I could never do.
Well, okay, Mike and I went camping, which would probably been about 1967.
Mhm.
I don't even remember where we went. It might have been someplace like Kings Canyon or something. And we did the typical tourist gig. We walked up and we saw this tower there, and it said public may climb, you know, and so we climbed up, and it was really a pretty high one. And did all the classic things that we're also familiar with, you know, looked inside and saw a woman inside and with a uniform on, and assumed she was a Forest Service employee, and then noticed that she was cooking lunch and went, "You live here? This is your house!" "Oh wow, is it okay if we're here?" You know.
First time we drove up, we were being more or less felt out for the job by Tom Andre. Was he before your time? Well, by the fire control officer and the assistant. They kind of drove us up there and showed us the place, and we were real excited about the. It's one of the most beautiful views in the world, as far as I'm concerned. And we wanted it so bad we could taste it. And we were completely enthusiastic.
Did you try to hold it back, or did you show them?
Well, I'm looking back on it so long ago, and I'm seeing myself as just being excited like a little kid about it, you know, and trying to be a bit mature to seem employable. But
I was in Taos and I was traveling around, and I went up in Santa Cristos. You know. I went across the valley and then climbed up on the ridge. You know, it's the east ridge of the Rockies. And I looked out over all that prairie, and I said,
Not going on
I
further?
ain't going to go any further. I'm going to stay in the west.
You're involved in some of those things.
Right. A couple of funny things happened up there too. Since my knee was, at one point my knee got very, very bad up there.
And to go up a 100-foot tower?
You had to go up 108 stairs, and it was very difficult. After a while, my knee got inflamed, and I had to hop up and down the stairs. I'm not kidding. I had
Hop? 108 stairs?
Yeah, on my right leg. My muscles are still like twice as big from that. I had to hop up and down all the stairs twice a day, and I did that for almost a month. Yeah, it was. My knee just got more and more inflamed the more steps I walked up. And one time I got stuck up there during a lightning storm. Being a novice, I hadn't quite kept tabs close enough on the clouds, and I wasn't really sure when the storm was starting and all that. And I got a call on the radio from my boss, and he said, "Hey, Gil, I'm down here on the highway, and it looks like you ought to be heading back into the cabin there. There's a storm coming up." And I said, "Oh, okay." I looked out the window, and all right, you know, and I slowly started getting my things together, and all of a sudden, lightning hit the tower. And at that point, I realized that I'd better get down there real quick, you know, because I wasn't going to stay in there in a lightning storm.
You weren't up? You wouldn't stay in?
No, they didn't want me to. They said I was probably safe, but I don't think I could have handled, being in the 100-foot steel tower, my first lookout, my first storm, period. And it was a hell of a storm. It turned out to be a bitch. So I heard somewhere that lightning never strikes. And so as soon as the first one hit, I just picked up the trap door. It had one of those trap doors, and I was about to step down onto the stairs there and grab the metal railings when lightning hit the tower again. And I probably would have been electrocuted. I don't know for sure, but I probably would have been electrocuted if I had been maybe a few seconds earlier. So both my hands would have been in contact with the metal railings, and that's where it was grounded through. So I dropped the thing, tried not to shit in my pants, and waited a few more seconds and hopped down all 108 stairs. And it was like you read about in these books about Tibet, where the llamas get caught in a landslide or something and somehow fly with their eyes closed at night, across these storm-driven creeks. And I was hopping down the stairs at least 6 or 7 at a time. I was using my hands, like swinging and jumping and leaping. And I just got down, and next thing I knew, I was standing on the ground shaking.
I've never been struck by lightning, but I've seen it do some pretty strange things. I know one day we were having a pretty good shower up here. Actually, it was about 11 o'clock at night, and I opened the door, and I see my tower. It looked like just one big blue rod when the lightning struck it. They say it's safe to be in the tower during a lightning storm. However, I never have been, and I don't plan on trying it out.
Control. Control. Firefly. Fire. Fire. Fire.
I put in a bathroom.
Colorado Forest Scanner.
And
We are, could we get a smoke report from Slate, please? Slate Mountain, Colorado, how's your...
And also, the other thing of going through that ultimate experience of just say sitting there, gazing out at a tranquil, landscape and thinking great thoughts, or maybe glancing at your book one moment, and the next moment all hell breaks on the radio, and there's all kinds of people driving around with sirens on and cars waiting for you to tell them what to do, or waiting for you to tell them what they're going to, to be able to shift into that gear and not let it freak you out too much, and be able to handle that, That's a real skill, and I think as far as qualifications go, that it seems like a lot of people who want to write books go up to lookouts, and it's no coincidence, because I think it takes real good communication skills to be a lookout. That people really, that what you need at a lookout is somebody who can really choose the right words, almost be a poet. A good transmission of a fire call is really like a poem in the sense that it's just stripped and essential information that with feel, also with feeling, the feeling behind it. I mean, people can tell as much from the words you're saying as from the flutter in your voice and the emotions that you're putting out when you're saying, about what's going on.
Yeah, not just the lookouts, but just working even on a fire crew. Because that's a little more intense, but with people and everything.
Well, you're a lot closer to the fire
than
you are on looking.
But I worked on a fire. I worked on that one fire a few years ago. I went out forest. And there was fire burning all around, and like a crown right up the hill across the road. And people are fascinated by fire, usually. And it definitely has its negative aspects, but there's something kind of cleansing about it.
How was that after working on lookout and being that close? Because that'd be
It was great. I loved it. Well, the worst part was all the smoke and everything, except that it was so hot that it kept the sun off. But it was real interesting, because when you're sitting up there on a lookout, you sort of lose. You don't really know what they're dealing with down there.
You hear about that? We had a great fire, and this was the source of many good stories. It's called the Hog Fire. You may have heard of it. It was on the Klamath.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Wayne Williams, a friend of ours, with jumper.
Yeah.
Did you see Terry? I think Terry.
Yeah, Terry. I talked to her on the telephone
Right.
at fire camp. That fire was pretty much all around my tower, and they had evacuated quite a few towers. None actually burned. but it came close to a few. It got within 8 hours. It got within 8 miles of my lookout, and it just kept leaping ridges, get to the top of the ridge, build a fire line, do a backfire, and it would just jump over anyway, and it was just one mess up after another.
You got burned from the house 2 fires, and they burned together.
Several fires. Well, actually, there was one dry lightning storm that started about 30 or 40 fires, and there were 4 fires they couldn't put out. One of them burned to 500 acres, and they contained it, and then the 3 others all burned together into the hog fire.
Okay, the big one.
And that was total chaos. The first time I'd been that close, and I was one of the 2 key communication points, so I got to hear everything that was going on. And it was just complete insanity. And the radio, I was like on duty like 18, 20 hours a day, like bullshit. Guys would call me at, I'd go to sleep at midnight. Someone would call me at 3 in the morning to relay a message that they needed 3 pairs of boots in dig camp, and that was like a 2-hour callback, and someone said, like, 2 hours overtime. I'd go to sleep, they'd wake me up again, for someone needed toilet paper, and that was like another 2 hours. So I was just like rigging it.
What were your checks like? Were you getting like $700-$800 checks?
Oh yeah, I was getting huge checks. I don't even remember what they were, but I won that one pay period. I think I worked, something like 180, 190 hours. And I was like on duty almost all the time. And they kept saying, well, Gil, do you want some relief up there? And I said, no, I've never made so much money in my life.
Yeah, I'll just stay up here.
They said, aren't you tired? I said, no, I couldn't see anything, so I wasn't doing any looking. I was just monitoring the radio.
Because you were smoked in.
We were smoked in. There was a heavy inversion. I was smoked in for 5 days. It would lift at night, and that's when the fire would take off. So
when the inversion layer was laying on there, it would push it? Or?
Yeah, the inversion layer was there. The fire had no oxygen. There was no wind, so it was just kind of creeping along. At night, the wind would come up and lift the inversion, and that's when it was blazing. We got just the most beautiful views. I have one picture I'd like to show you later of the fire. It's just an incredible sight. At one point, I had a spotting scope up there too, which was really nice from World War II. It had Guadalcanal emblazoned on it. It's a 30-power scope, beautiful thing, on a huge thing on a tripod. And everyone would come up. The highlight of everyone's summer was to come up and look at the flames through the spotting scope. And at one point, there were 300-foot flames coming about 15 miles away out of the South Fork of the Salmon. That was like the biggest flare-up they had. And looking through the spotting scope, it was like something out of a Hollywood disaster movie. It was completely unreal. Bright red and yellow flames coming up big from 15 miles away. It was just incredible.
How big?
I think, I don't know, I had this one kind of vision of, this was like the government at its most insane in the 70s with the everyone getting high in the fire camp. Venereal disease was running rampant all through the fire camp. There were a few girls spreading the crabs, the clap, making it with everybody in sight. Everyone was on drugs. It was just the government breaking down. It was like the end of the Roman Empire. The government in the last gasp trying to keep it together in the face of the last emergency. It was like the Army, because the Army, if you know anyone who's been in the Army, they tell you the same stories of someone requisitioning 8 trucks. They weren't supposed to do it, so they buried the truck. My brother told me that story. He was in the National Guard, stuff like that goes on all the time. All the food in the fire camp, they had like 800 steaks, and people were grabbing and pilfering the steaks. People were bringing me like 8 pounds of bacon. And one guy went in there and grabbed all the juice cans. He had like, a room full of juice cans. Those
It's really funny.
6-ounce cans, just like, vultures. They just pounce on the can. There were people who lived in the area who were eating 3 square meals a day there, who never even had anything to do with the fire service. My other impressions of the fire just had mostly to do with being smoked in for a week. It was like being in a war kind of. Having the Army there fucking up really bad. They didn't know what they were doing. Half the guys who worked at the state were drunk continuously, almost driving people off the road, coming up down the mountains. I got the feeling that if there were ever a true national emergency, there would be absolutely no hope whatsoever, like an earthquake, major earthquake. It would just be complete chaos.
But war's a horrible thing. I mean, it's even the smell of it. Yeah, death and all that.
Because well, you worked on searchlights and radar. Does that mean that?
Well, I happen to. I don't know. I hope it was my IQ that got me in there. I don't know if it was, but anyway, I got in there, but we had to go on patrols, and then it wasn't only us we had to worry about. We had the Air Force above us, and them damn guys would shoot at anything that moved, you know. And they was always shooting down in our position. I'd climb up into we had a motor that run the searchlights and the radar, you know. And you climb in and grab that motor, and bullets would be banging off of it, you know.
Gee.
Then we had to go out on patrols, and these guys were in caves, and you'd see a machine gun mounted in this cave, and so you'd sneak around it and throw in hand grenades and stuff. Like, well, we got him today. You go out on patrol the next day, and here they were.
Still there.
Yeah, the damn machine gun mow you down. You know, you had to hit the holes and everything else.
How did you survive? What brought you through then?
Oh, just luck, I guess. And then we had another guy called Pistol Pete, and we were living in a mud hole then. I mean, it was raining, and we lived right in the mud. You wonder how you ever get through it. You fed you full of Atabrine and everything to keep you from getting all kinds of diseases. And you were healthy as a damn dog, you know, living out in the rain and mud and everything. And this guy would bring his gun out on Okinawa there and shoot at us. And he would zero his gun in. He put it one bullet in this, you know, one shell in this corner, one in this corner, one in this corner, and then this corner. And then you knew the next one was going to be right in the center, you know.
Yeah.
And man, you start digging, and you get religion. I promise, I say, if I ever get out of this, I'm going to be the nicest person that ever lived. I'm going to treat everybody real nice. And I was nice for a little while, and then when I got back, I forgot all about it, you know, and I was just as nasty as I ever was. But boy, you get religion. And you know, the only thing I ever brought back from over there, I was offered Samari swords, you know, and all that sort of thing. Every house in Okinawa had a shrine, you know, and on these shrines they had beautiful vases, you know, and I brought back a couple of the vases, and I think I brought back one 22 caliber. They had 22 caliber rifles, but those vases, I just love those things. And every house, you know, and they had toilets that you had to empty, you know, in their houses.
Nice.
And I was amazed that we had to go on patrol and go through all these houses, and I was amazed they had a lot of American books in these houses.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
And the kamikazes were coming in and trying to knock out the Navy, and the Navy get all excited and shoot into the island. They killed as many people as Japanese did. Man, we'd have to hit the holes, you know, the damn big guns would be following kamikazes down. And finally they chased them up to the north end of the island and run them into the sea. And the way they got back, they put women in front of them.
Oh, really?
They think we wouldn't shoot the women, we had to shoot. Yeah, they put all these beautiful girls out in front, then the army would be behind, you know, they were trying to get back in.
Oh, what a sight. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was horrible.
Ranger Les hunted me down one day and said, "Hey, youngster, how would you like to be on pot next summer?" I darn near fainted. Pot was Pot Mountain, one of the highest peaks. My gosh, Les, mean it? Yep, I mean it. Wow. A lookout smoke chaser job.
Dean Robert Fight at Elk Grove School District would like you to call him concerning the possibility of a position there.
The lookout cabin was 12 feet by 12 feet. It contained 2 army bunks, a sheet iron sheepherder's stove, and a small table. All 4 sides had windows, and there were plenty of cracks for the squirrels, birds, and rats to enter.
628-10-8 toward Independence Point.
On top of the cabin, we had a board platform. Our routine was to get up about 3 in the morning, go up on the roof, and carefully scan all the territory we could see. Heaven help you if you spotted fog in another's territory and sent him scurrying to find out it was just fog. Well, after the scanning, the next thing on the routine was to walk the mile or so out to the end of Pot's Handle and look in that direction. There was a big rock I would climb. It had a nice flat top, and after my looking duties were over, I would stretch out flat and sleep for an hour in the nice morning warm sunshine. An idyllic life for the most part, but remember, we had responsibilities.
593 Pacific.
Kid, what are you doing?
What was that?
What are you dreaming about? You have stone cake too? Poor kid. What?
We took turns on mapping trips. The patrol trips were necessary.
And then I heard something like a train making a loud noise. There was no railroad near where I am. And then I saw it on the water. It was a water spout on the lake, going up the center of the lake.
Mail was the most precious thing.
Baltic called control and said, "There's 2 twisters going up Highway 50.
Talk about smoke and haze and the lack of visibility.
And it wasn't until I saw blood all over the dresser and the window and everything that I just went, ooh, good.
Our job, by the time
He tried to get us busted by planning a road trip there.
I jumped,
She was laying at the foot of the stairs, and the monkey was up in the cab just going berserk.
Yeah.
since the top, the cabin,
I was thinking of changing my name.
to get to my fire.
Did I tell you this, man? This where this cult believes that when the end of the world comes, that's one of the 2 safe places in the world to be.
I looked for a long time, but I could find no fire.
Have you ever felt like a pheasant under glass? That's the way I feel as the tourists pass. They look in my window hour after hour. Even God doesn't have that power. Oh, I get so lonely on the top of my hill where the radio's roaring and the choppers never still. It makes me feel a little strange whenever I go 10-7 to go out on the range. Everybody knows exactly what I'm doing. I'm sitting on the pot and something is brewing. Oh, I feel so lonely on the top of my hill where the radio's roaring and the chopper's never still.
I suspect too that I've been present when one particular lookout kind of went off the deep end. Woke up one morning to guitar playing on the fire radio about 5:36 in the morning, and the guitar playing would go for 90 seconds because that's how long the radio repeater allowed you to talk.
Mm-hmm.
And then it would shut down for 15 or 17 seconds and then come back on.
Mm.
It was in effect a rebroadcaster, not a true repeater.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got intermittent shots of guitar playing, and then the man started reading from the Bible. And he happened to overlook a fairly large lake. It was an alkali lake. And about 10:30 or so that morning, we'd been trying to isolate where the music was coming. We didn't know. We finally were able to hear, because the lookout had another radio that no other lookout had, and in the background we could hear these people talking on the radio. So about 10:30 that morning was when we isolated the lookout, or knew which one it was. Went tearing off up there. Before we got there, the man reported sighting a monster swimming across the lake, and shortly after that he started to ask his fellow lookouts if they'd just felt and seen the earthquake that he had been through. And in between all this, he was playing guitar. Got up there and got the man quieted down. Had to restrain him. He wasn't violent, but he just wanted to do everything. So we got him restrained, and it turned out that, unbeknownst to anybody, his wife had committed suicide the previous winter, and for the last 2 weeks he believed that she was still alive. He was serenading his wife.
Oh, lookouts, life is not so bad. At the end of the day, I feel so glad. I lean back in my chair and I wonder why they built those goddamn towers to block out my sky. Oh, I get so lonely on the top of my hill where the radio's roaring and the choppers never still.
But
had he seen signs, or have you seen signs of fear of the world's end? I mean, at the end of our world. I just wondered if
from what you read and everything, it's getting awful close.
Maybe I have to ask you about
I think you probably
about the occult thing. See, I've never seen a flying saucer, but friends of mine who are on another lookout said they saw one over my lookout one night.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, about midnight, and I was asleep and I didn't see it.
Yeah.
And
You
so I was
didn't
curious.
feel it or anything? Because a lot of times you feel it, and the atmosphere literally changes.
Huh. Is it like the lightning electric feeling, or is it?
It's a quieter feeling, but you literally can feel. You know, like the year that I saw so many, I literally knew when it was like, you know, I knew when they were going to be here. Yeah. And there was just something in the atmosphere that changed feeling. I don't know, you know,
Did they come in, or did they suddenly materialize so you could see them?
At nighttime, you could, you know, I just could kind of have a feeling for when they would be, and I would sit out on the roof, and I would see them, you know, a lot of times they would come, you know, like in across over Mona Lake, and you really can't, from that distance, about the only way you can tell that it's probably a UFO and not, is if they do some, not a satellite or something like that. is if they did something real strange as far
Like
as
what,
their
do
duty.
quick
Or
turn
just
or-
like, you know, like take a drop like this or something like that, you know, or go back up in weird, you know, unusual movements is about the only way you can really tell. But the one the two that I saw broad daylight, one was right over Lee Vining, which was over there where the Powder Pass Road, you know, you can see that going up there. But it was just like a metallic disc. And I didn't even want to take my eyes off of it, you know, for fear that something would happen to it. And they're always jets. Jets, the Air Force that denies they exist.
They're all around at the same time. Oh, you're kidding, really?
And this thing was just over Lee Vining, and there was it appeared to be totally clear to me. There was no atmospheric thing I could see, and I'm just staring at it, and it just like all of a sudden just went into motion, and it was gone. It was faster than I could watch. And I saw another one over here over Hilton Creek one day, and I was watching it, and it started to change colors. It started to get like golds and blue and kind of get a color thing, and then it just looked like it started to get smaller, and then then I just lost sight of it. It was just like it just vanished.
Yeah, I wonder if they can materialize and dematerialize that.
I've never heard of that before.
Was there anything
I don't know,
particular?
maybe that was some sort of an optical illusion and not, you know, because that was kind of unusual. It was usually you see the metallic disc.
That's the way it was described over in my look at,
Yeah, that's more usual. But that one was a real unusual one that I saw over there, and it could have just been some sort of an optical illusion.
Yeah, or who knows, maybe from different peoples too. I mean, they may not be the
I
same.
think it makes sense that there is. I mean, it's kind
Too
of,
much out there not to be.
I mean, you know, with all the planetary systems, I mean, you know, geez, there's got to be life.
Well, this planetarium guy said we can see 1 million galaxies through the Big Dipper alone. 1 million galaxies, I could. But was there any reason you think that summer there were more? Because that I was.
Well, you know, there's an occult type group in June Lake that's a church based on the UFOs. I'm not a member of the church, but I'm friends with a lot of the people who are in the church. They're really interesting people, and since I do share beliefs on a lot of levels with them, then I tend to have a lot to talk to them about. But I personally will not participate in that organized religion.
It gets a little weird.
Yeah, like, there's just too many atrocities performed. But I said their leader died that year.
Oh, that year? Huh?
The winter after the year that I saw so many of them. And so I said something about it to Nicholas. Just casually, he was up here one night, and I just went, you know, I haven't seen a UFO this year, and I saw so many last year. And he went, yeah, that's because Hope died.
Yeah, I think that's mankind's next evolution, is realizing what self is and widening that view of self from the individual person. Actually, from within that person, most people think of self as being right up here. Yeah. That's self. This is something that's nice to go along with it, but this is self up here. To extending it to the whole body, and then to the next person, your family or your neighbor, and then to more people, and then all people, and then the animals that you feel close to, or the trees, or whatever you feel close to, and pretty soon everything. I feel that every rock has a life, and I feel that if I could learn how to communicate, I could communicate with each rock and each particle of life, anything I wanted to communicate with. I know I've communicated with the animals. I mean, I've sat and talked to a lizard and got answers.
Great, here we are.
Ball Mountain. Baltic.
Big Hill.
Bunker Hill. Big Crest. Big Mountain.
It's great, I like having